Hey everyone, I'm John. This is BYG Poetry, and this is episode 3 of Will It Poem. If you haven't seen the first two, want to go check those out and you get a little bit of a rundown. But the baseline is I take grocery store items or things from around my house and build a word bank out of all the words on the label or that are visible on that item. And I use that word bank to try my best to write a poem using only the words available. There's a few rules we'll cover before we actually get into the word bank building and the process. In this episode, we are going to be using a Spindrift sensor box, not the can, the whole box. I get access to all of these neat words and their little blurb about the company on the back. There's a lot of cool words here, and I was very excited going into this before we got into. You'll hear about it in just a second. There's also a secret challenge that I was given by my community for this project for episode 3, and we'll talk about that for just a quick moment. I posted a community post on the channel page and asked the community what word would have the most impact if you removed it from writing poetry. Options there. You see the was a winner by landslide. I went ahead and didn't include the word the in this Will It Poem episode. Even though it appeared in my word bank 5 times, I was not allowed to use it. Let's go over the rules. Rule number 1, I'm only allowed to use the words on the label. I can't add my own or make up my own words, so they have to exist on a label somewhere. Rule number 2, abbreviated words are disqualified. Example, the OZ in ounces doesn't mean I get to use the word ounces. The same goes for milligrams or anything on the nutrition label that is not a complete word. Rule number 3, no brand names may appear in my poem. Rule number 4, no numbers, only words. And a little bit of an explanation on this. If the number appears as a word, I can use it. I cannot change a number into a word for my own purposes. And rule number 5, I can only use the words as written. Example, serving and servings. That's 2 different words. I actually cannot add an S to make it beneficial if I run out of the word servings and need an additional one. I have to find a different word to use. And secret rule number 6 for this challenge is I cannot use the word the in the poem. Okay, so I kind of got smart this time. Rather than leaving my word bank in my notebook and having to pan back and forth with the camera, I went ahead and moved all the words into Microsoft Excel with a spreadsheet. That'll be a downloadable word bank. If you'd like to follow along with this challenge, maybe try it for yourself, you can get that download in the description below. I'm really interested to see what you come up with. Would love to read what you are able to make with the word bank. This poem was a little difficult for me. It's not my typical style, and it is not something that I necessarily am dissatisfied with, but this was a hard challenge. The words were prolific. There were many good ones, but finding a rhyming scheme, which is the way that I like to write, it's my comfort zone for writing, was not something I was able to do. I spent a little over an hour trying to pick the pieces apart, and I really focused in on blood as my center of the poem. I'm not going to call it a poem. That's going to be for you to decide in the comments after the video, because the series is Will It Poem. This is a creative piece of writing. I think that it is a passable poem, but it's up to you to make that final call. Moved everything around into the word bank, started writing. If my editing is on point, you'll see some footage of that going on the screen now. Magic of editing, you don't have to sit through the whole thing with me. This is a poem that I've titled Painted in You. Our blood is remarkable. Why? An unassuming scarlet, something special. We seek to elevate and reveal its bright. Together, fanatics of real. Blood is truly an ordinary unique. So used to pressure, we're squeezed to be even more by those serving a recyclable exterior. Ingredients for infinitely anything project in blood. Multidimensional, mysterious, serving who? Self-proclaimed remarkable, painted in you. Now, if you've seen episodes 1 and 2, you'll see that this writing style is a little bit different than my typical same 12 lines, 3 stanzas, and I'm very curious to see what everybody thinks. I'm happy with it, and I think that it is a powerful piece of writing. I would call it a poem, but I would call it I'm not sure where it falls on traditional definitions or traditional poetry. So I'm really curious to see what you think. If you like the content, if you want to not miss the next episode, or if you have an item that you want me to try the challenge with, any special stipulations or creative writing challenges, post those below. Let me know what you want to see. I'm always curious to try new writing challenges, and I'm planning on keeping this series going for as long as I have objects to do word banks with. It's a lot of fun for me, and I hope that you enjoyed coming along on the journey with me. If you like the vibe, please subscribe. Bye.